Welcome to the Aquaflow Crypto Lab. Maybe you want to know what's going on right now with XRP, and in my previous videos I warned you about this scenario. And while everyone on X was screaming for higher prices, I told you that yes, XRP was looking pretty strong and pretty bullish, but before screaming for the moon, we needed to overcome this strong resistance just right here. In this video, we will break down what we can expect from XRP, we will discuss about potential targets in the future and how high XRP could go, and you will understand also why this area is a battle area. So, do we start with the targets or with the current situation? Let's start with the targets first because I received a lot of requests for this subject, so let's tackle it. So on this chart you have the sky indicator in blue. You see here we reached it with this candle, then with this candle you have the cloud just right here, then we reached it again with this candle, then we went down, right? Here we reached it, we went down to reach the orange line. Here we reached it again and we went down. And more recently, just right here, we reached the sky indicator in blue. And I remind you that on this chart, I'm using the 2-month time frame. So these things take time, guys. It takes time to play out. But you can see how accurate it was in the past. And the purpose of this indicator is to show us how high XRP could go with one candle. And what do I mean by this? You see here with this big green candle, we went all the way up, but we stopped just at the sky indicator. This means that XRP couldn't go higher than this indicator during this phase, right? During this candle. But it doesn't mean that it was the end of the bull cycle, because just after, again, we went up to reach the sky indicator. So I want you to understand that this gives us local tops and not all-time highs only. And of course, it worked very well in the past, as you can see, because we reached it multiple times, but we are not sure that it will happen again in the future. But if we do, then we know that it will be again at least a major local top for XRP. And we know how explosive XRP is when it starts moving. You see, every time that we have reached the sky indicator, it was always a big green candle. And this kind of candle, you don't see it with all the coins in the market, right? It's really a blueprint from XRP. So if we are able to go through this resistance, I really think that XRP will have again a huge green candle. And it's because XRP is moving so fast that every time we are able to reach the skyline indicator, right? On this channel, we like to keep things super simple. So to make it clear, guys, we know that for this candle, the higher we can go is here. And then we will have the next candle, and for the next 2 months, we will know the higher price we can go also. So for example, with the current candle of XRP, we cannot go higher than $18. But there is more, guys. There is always more. You remember about these boxes? You know, the theory is that XRP reach the box for each market cycle, okay? So this was the first box, the second box, and the third target would be this box. And I remind you that these boxes are drawn using the BTC chart adapted to the XRP chart. So you see the BTC price in green, and then I took the top, bottom, we have the first box. Top, bottom, we have the second box. Top, bottom, we have the third box. And XRP went from here to the top of the first box. Then it went from here to the very top of the second box. Then my hope, guys, is to see XRP going from here to all the way up the top of the third box. And now you need to be focused, because if you pay attention to the details in the chart, you can see that, and every time that XRP reached an all-time high, it was when the sky indicator reached the box. Indeed, here we went up, we reached the skyline indicator, but the skyline indicator was still below the box. Here it was the same case, but here finally you see the skyline going up, up, up. It penetrated the box, and then we had our all-time high. Then we continue, you can see the skyline indicator going down like this, then penetrating the second box, the orange box, right? And this is when we had this major market cycle high. So again, it was a major top before going again into a bear cycle. And look again, we have the skyline indicator penetrating the box again, just right here, and the price was attracted to this area again. So you can see here, we penetrate the box. One time we have XRP reaching this point and it was a major top. Here again, penetrated this area and we have this major top. And again, penetrating this area and we got attracted to it like a magnet, guys. And why am I saying this? It's because you can see the skyline indicator that is about to penetrate the third orange box. So if history repeats, we know that once the skyline indicator will penetrate this box, we might have XRP attracted again to this area. But guys, I remind you that this is pure speculation because we don't know how high XRP will go, but you can understand why this makes sense. So with this analysis, we have to wait for the skyline to go into this box. Now let's talk about the levels, the prices to watch. You can see here the top of the second box is around $2.70. So on the 2 months time frame, it was a strong resistance for a long time. So now it should be a support if we don't want to go down. Then on the top, just right here, we have the bottom of the third box, which is around $20. And finally, the top of the box, which is around $55. So if you want my opinion, a really optimistic approach would be to say that XRP could reach this orange box. So either the top, even the bottom, but the real indicator to watch is this interaction between the skyline indicator and the box. That said, we have also this white channel going up, and this is the next resistance zone in my opinion. So if you want a more conservative approach, you can consider this line as a target. And in that case, you can see that it's not a fixed target because it's moving with the time. So it will move over the time, as you can see. And currently it is around $8. But next month, it will be something else, and again and again and again. And I know that a lot of people talk about a target around $12. And if it is the case and it matches with this white channel, it will happen around the end or the beginning of next year. The end of this year, right? Or the beginning of next year. A possible scenario also is that XRP could go up and reach this area by the end of the year. Then a little bear market before going up again and reaching the top of the third box by the end of next year. But I remind you that this is pure speculation, guys. We are trying to understand what could happen. But I'm way more confident talking about bottoms than tops, guys, because you see bottoms, it's very easy. I have my indicator and my targets, but here it's a little bit more complicated. Last thing I want to talk about is this. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is this area, because maybe you are wondering why XRP is stuck in this zone. And I already talked about the golden line that pushed us to the downside, but on this chart we have also the orange line and the blue line, and XRP is below those lines during bear markets. So for example, it was the case here, and we use the lines as resistances, and above the line XRP is in a bull market, and we are using those lines as support. And right now we have a beautiful battle between the bears and the bulls, because we can see that after crossing the orange line, we reached the skyline indicator just right here, and then we went sideways to retest here the orange indicator, then again here, and as it was going up, this pushed us to the upside. But if we consider the blue indicator, you can see that we closed a candle below the blue indicator because we crossed it, but this time to the downside, and the blue indicator is above us. And as it is above us, right now it is acting as a resistance, guys. And this is why this is so important, because it will decide if the blue line wins or if the orange line wins. Because as the blue line is acting as a resistance now, we can have XRP push to the downside because of this blue area. But if we win with the orange line, we can push through and push through also the golden line, the golden resistance, and finally have our moon shot. So right now the blue line is around $3.05 and the orange line is around $2.50. So now you know everything. I forgot to tell you about the golden indicator, which is currently around $3.65. So now you have all the levels to watch and you know everything about this chart. If you want to follow this journey with us and you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And thanks a lot for your support because I receive a lot of cheerful for my videos and my content on X. So thank you guys for this. That's all for today's video, and as always, time will tell.